Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I certainly support Mr. Boucher's change, and I want to take this opportunity to thank you for your interest in the bill and for calling today's markup. I want to thank Mr. Boucher. I want Mr. Barton, Mr. Stearns. I'm here in strong support of my legislation, the Truth in Caller ID Act. This has been, as Mr. Boucher said, a bipartisan manner, and Mr. Stearns and my classmate, and has been very helpful. And all the way down, everybody has agreed that this is something long coming. I introduced the bill because we needed an immediate change in our laws to help prevent identity theft, to crack down on fraudulent phone calls, and to protect legitimate uses of caller ID technology. Last year, over 6,000 people were victimized by credit card fraud and identity theft. Criminals stole over $15 million from banks and ruined the credits of thousands of victims. They were able to perpetrate this fraud in some instances by using caller ID spoofing. The disturbing fact about spoofing is not just that it's legal, but how easy it is to carry out. Criminals use a tool called a spoof card to change their outgoing caller ID and even to disguise their voice in order to trick banks into giving them access to their victims' accounts. You can have a male or a female voice, and you can disguise all these things with the technology that's around today, and it just ought to stop. This tool is available to anyone with access to a web browser. No one can dispute that the legislation is necessary. Last year, a person in New York called a pregnant woman who she viewed as a romantic rival, spoofing the phone number of the woman's pharmacist. She tricked the woman into taking a drug used to cause abortions. Caller ID fraud has been used to prank call the constituents of a member of this body with the caller ID readout saying it came from that member's office. Just imagine if people committed this fraud in the days leading up to a close election. So in response to this problem, I, along with Mr. Barton, have introduced the Truth in Caller ID Act. The bill outlaws the deceptive use of caller ID spoofing technology if the intention of the caller is to deceive the recipient of the call. This bill does not change the rules for legitimate uses of the technology. For example, a domestic abuse shelter will still be able to change their number on caller ID to protect the occupants of the shelter. So I am pleased in conclusion that the bill passed both this committee and the full House by voice vote in the 109th and 110th Congresses, and I look forward to its passage in the committee again today and hope the other body will pass it as well. And I urge my colleagues very strongly to support the Truth in Caller ID Act and outlaw this type of fraud once and for all. And I yield back, and I thank you, Mr. Chairman.